Hey everybody, I hope your weekend is off to a good start. This is Lisa in Connecticut. I want to show you quickly the inside of this one African nightcrawler bin. This one contains mostly adults, however, there are still a few babies in here. And I'm getting into this bin right now because I am relocating and consolidating all of my African nightcrawlers, and I'll show you that in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to open it and just kind of show you how big these monsters are getting. Let me see if I can put my hand next to, oh, he moved, next to that one. These things are just getting massive. I don't understand it. There are some of them stretched out. Do you see I have measuring tape right there? I measured 2 of them at 17 inches stretched out. Which is, that's just crazy. And the more crowded the bin gets with babies, the bigger these suckers are growing. The bigger these worms are growing. That's not nice. I don't get it. I don't need to get it. It's pretty awesome. But they're getting to the point where they're getting so big and so long and eating so much food that this tub or the bus tubs that I've had them in are not adequate anymore. So we're moving up to bigger and better things for sure. Let me pull off some of this top cardboard and we can just look at some of the other ones. And of course, as they are night crawlers, it's expected to see them be on the top when it's dark, just like you would if you went outside in your yard at night. If it's damp, you're going to find your night crawlers crawling across the top. Let's see, I can't get these around my finger. Okay, so this one is around my finger and down my hand and then down there. There's no way. There's no way for me to measure this worm because he's hanging on my finger like a darn snake, but it's huge. And this bin right now is got so many worms in it, and they're really, really beautiful. I love these worms. Of course, I say that about all the worms I have, don't I? It's a love relationship. You can see like how fat they're getting to. They're not only getting long, but they're getting fat. And all of this happened after the baby explosion. I don't know. I guess they didn't lose that baby weight. I had the same problem, so I know how it is. But yeah, this little bin is very, very crowded. And this is one, I only had one bin up until a few months ago. Then I had split it into 2, and then I put these worms in the basement, and I've talked about that a few times, and forgot about them. And they were in a cold area for longer than I should have left them in that cold area. But the result when I took them out of that cold extended stay is a zillion new hatchlings, cocoons, and these guys went into a massive growth spurt. So although I know that they come from a climate area, a tropical area I meant to say, and don't prefer the cold, or aren't native to the cold, something happened with these guys being exposed to the cold that made them go crazy. They made them go crazy in a rapid growth spurt, and they went into a breeding extravaganza. Now, the breeding part, I could understand based on the theory that when worms are stressed, they breed out of control to help preserve the population. But that is normally because they are stressed, and that's about all they do. These guys grew. They grew in width, they grew in length, and of course they grew in numbers. So what this one bin had ended up being 5 tubs. You see that tub over there, and you see that one down there, and you see this one over here, and that one down there. I had to put African night crawlers in all of it. Babies, cocoons, wisps, every shape, size, because of how many there were. And, you know, we saw that worm ball in the one video, the first African worm ball that I've seen. And that was just the beginning of the hatching frenzy, because every time I went into the bin, I would take out the handful of worms in the worm ball, or a couple handfuls of it, and I would move them into another bin, and then I'd go in and there'd be another worm ball of babies. So you can see these things are crazy long. So, yep, it's a good problem to have. Actually, it's not a problem. It's just it's something I don't understand. And I'd like to, because I'd like to be able to replicate it. Well, I guess I just have to stick them in my basement in the cold for a month. But that theoretically shouldn't work. However, it did. So what I'm doing is I'm sending these worms on what I call, whoa, wait a minute. I was just looking how fat. Look at how fat that worm is right there. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a huge worm. Oh my gosh. Okay, that one there is, geez. Anyway, I'm going to send them all on an African safari. And so what I've done is I've taken all the bins, or I'm in the process of taking all the bins that contain the African night crawlers, minus the 500 or so I put into my urban worm bag, and I'm putting them all into one really, really big container, which is this. And this thing is huge. Now what you see in there is just one bin of babies that is so densely populated. It's impossible to try to guess a count. This is a 45-gallon, 170-liter storage container and it's on wheels, which is really nice. So I've dumped one bin of babies in here. So you can see babies, how dense. I just grabbed one scoop of material. When I say babies, these are babies, because these all just hatched right after Christmas. They grow really, really, really fast. Here's another handful. And you can see the density. I'll do just one more. Although, I don't think they're all going to be that dense. Yep, they are. And you can also see how really nice the castings are. The babies may be small, but and growing quickly, but they make phenomenal castings. I think that's true of all worms. People think, oh, they're babies, they're not going to do much. They're not going to eat much. Oh boy. That's not at all true. I actually think they eat more than the adults, doing that little growth spurt thing they have to do. So yeah, they're, compared to the adults, of course, they're tiny. They're only 3 weeks old, roughly. So I am going to be adding all of my African nightcrawler bins, all 4 of them, 5, with, so the adults, the semi-adults, the 2 baby bins, and a cocoon and baby bin. I'm going to dump them all in here and see what they can do. See how, you know, certainly they're going to have a lot more room, because this is, let's see, I would estimate this is 36 inches long, and it's definitely 24 inches. So it's 3 feet by 2 feet compared to a 17-inch bus tub. So they'll be able to do, they can, oh, I saw a fruit fly. They can stretch out, they can move all around, they can get away from things, they can go to things, I hope they reproduce more if that's possible. But if anything, nothing else, this will become one big breeder bin. And that would be great because that seems to be what these worms do best. So, yep, we're going to just call this the African Safari Bin. And let's see what these guys can do. And I'll do updates periodically on it. And please like this video if you would. And I'm going to make a playlist for this, so subscribe to my channel so you can get future notifications on the African Safari. All right, guys, have a great day. Quick addition, I just took the bubble wrap off this. This was the cocoon only bin. And as you can see, it's not a cocoon only bin anymore. These little boogers have hatched, and oh my gosh, they're growing so darn fast. What is in the water? What is not in the water? I think this banana peel is about all they have in here for food. Since they were cocoons, I didn't feed it much. I saw a couple hatch, and so I did put the banana peel in, but they hatched and they exploded. I mean, I know they can, get up to, well, the adults I have are 17 inches. At least 2 of them were. I didn't obviously measure all of my adults. I just measured a couple to get an idea of length. I'm sure there's some bigger. I'm sure there's some smaller. But so they can get that big, and they're breeding at 55 days from hatching. So, of course, they explode in growth. But this is the fastest I've ever seen them grow. I don't know. I put a lot more leaves and a lot more bean pods in the bedding this time around, and that may have something to do with it. It's much more like humus, or the soil floor, don't say that fast. And it may be just that this particular bedding is a lot more optimal for them, so they're going through a growth spurt. I don't know, but I just thought I would share that with you because I just opened this up to dump them in. I was expecting to see mostly cocoons still. I don't check this very often because it has been mostly cocoons. They are joining into the African Safari, and they're going to have a lot more room.